Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing some touch-up paint repairs on different body panels that are on my C5 Corvette. There are some different body damage on the front fender, the driver door, the rear fender, and the passenger side door that I had to do some body work on, which I covered in a previous video. So today I'm going to be doing the touch-up paint repairs on those with some spray paint to try and color match that to the rest of the car. So just getting the car repositioned in the garage here, so I had a little more room to get around to paint it. And then the next job was definitely to obviously mask off most of the car and only leave the touch-up paint areas exposed. And throughout this video, if you're experienced with touch-up paint repair, you'll probably see some of the mistakes I made that I'll go over at the end of the video. But here I'm cutting out the plastic drop sheet so I can give myself the repair area. The lesson I learned throughout this job was that give yourself plenty of room, and this was not enough room. You want to give yourself room when you're doing touch-up repairs like this, so you can fade your base coat and your clear coat and blend that into the existing paint jobs. And if possible, it's best to actually mask off at a body line, but I didn't want to have to end up painting the whole front fender and doors and everything. So here you can see I'm just going over some of the sanding. So I'm prepping with 600, 1000, and 3000 before I go ahead and start laying down some primer. So just hitting this area with 600 to rough up all the areas that haven't been sanded yet to get a good adhesion with the primer and then the base coat and clear. And again, I'm doing another voiceover for this video just because a lot of this work that I was doing was pretty repetitive and I didn't want to bore you guys with talking, and rather I just wanted to show you as I was doing it. So this fender was nice and prepped, moved on to the passenger side door. Already did most of the sanding work to try and blend the repair area so that there wasn't like a seam or transition. So that was all pretty well and good. This was just simply abrading the surface to allow for good adhesion with the primer. So here we got the paint I'll be using. So I got the primer from ERA Paints, the color matched WA 9075 torch red base coat, the 2K clear coat, and then at the end was a spot blender, which didn't work out super well, but we'll see how it turns out when I do the wet sanding in the near future. So everything's all sanded. I think the next step is I just have to clean all the surfaces with isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, so given a quick wipe down, I want to wipe off all the sanding dust, get any grease, contaminants off of the surfaces to obviously give us the best chance for a good quality paint finish. Just some foreshadowing. I was pretty happy, honestly. There were some things that happened through this repair or this touch-up that kind of was frustrating, but overall we had really good adhesion with the paint and no weird fisheyes or chemical reactions with the paint. So I'd say our cleanup and prep job turned out pretty good. So now I'm just hitting it with a first coat of primer, trying to keep the primer in the repair area and not trying to fade that out. So now we're going back for a second coat of primer. And again, I reiterate that I am by no means a professional. This is really my first shot at doing touch-up paint repair. So now I'm using a tack cloth once the primer had dried to knock down some of the overspray and kind of just rough grittiness on the surface with the primer. But yeah, just, if you're looking for a professional how-to video, I'm not the channel. This is just me documenting my experience and teaching myself, and maybe you can learn from some of the mistakes I made and just seeing the general progress on my project car. So you can already see the tape pulled back a little bit, and I had a hard line there, so just definitely going to have to do some wet sanding and work afterwards. In addition to doing the parts on the car, I was also spraying the headlight lid that I had to purchase. That was bare fiberglass. So now just doing a tack cloth again on all the surfaces. This really helps to smooth out the primer that you've sprayed down. You can feel a difference before and after the tack cloth, so highly recommend you do this before you lay down your base coat. So I think what I was doing now here was just to help with a transition even more. I was going with some 1,000 or 3,000 at the kind of the transition lines. If you have experience with doing repairs like this, please feel free. I'm sure there's a million things that I probably could have done better, and especially with my masking job. I had some hard masking lines at the end, so I'm gonna definitely try and wet sand those down. So that, I'm sure, is the most apparent, and that's where it comes into giving yourself room. It's easier to wet sand down a nice fade of overspray rather than the hard transition of a mask line. Now we're doing our first coat of base coat. So trying to keep the coats nice and light, and what I was trying to do was fade out about an inch beyond the repair area and then extend that with every coat of base coat, but didn't give myself enough room, is the moral of the story. But overall, the base coat went down really well. I didn't have as many issues with the cans dribbling out under the nozzle like I did when I was spraying. I think that's my neighbor's dog freaking out. Spraying the hood and the bumper, so that was nice, not having to deal with that issue this time. Now this is going, I believe, the second or third coat of base, so I'm going a little bit heavier. And yes, I do this stuff in flip-flops. I'm born and raised in California. I do everything in flip-flops, within reason. Trying to do the fade right there. Definitely too close to the mask line, looking back. Going heavy on the repair area and then trying to fade out. So overall, the base coat went down really nice. I was really happy with it. The color match was pretty dang good. The spray paint has a little bit of a darker hue to it than the original color, but that could be due to some color fade. And the headlight lid turned out awesome as well. And I did a few little touch-up spots on the front bumper. That's why it's sitting down there. So just kind of giving a quick overview. So I believe I was letting the base coat cure at this point a little bit, flash off a little bit before I started laying down the clear coat. So now moving on to the 2K clear coat. This as I said in my previous videos, this is the game changer in making a rattle can spray paint job look like somewhat of a body shop finish. This is what gives the paint job a deep glossiness, and it doesn't have that kind of haze to it like a lot of spray paint single stage clear coats have. So if you're trying to do this, I mean, just look at that. You can see the reflections already. It's just, that's without any wet sanding or anything. That's straight out of the can. So I was thoroughly impressed with this 2K clear coat. So now that we got the glossiness on there, you can see there's a little bit of remnants of my bodywork, but for the most part it's not too bad. This was my frustrating area here. So what happened was a piece of plastic that I guess I had trimmed away when I was cutting out the repair area was sitting on the roof. The wind came in and of course blew it, and it landed right there. And so there were some spots that it was kind of roughed up, and so what I did was I tried to hit it with some clear coat really quick to knock it down and get it to level back down, and I caused some runs, so I'm gonna have to spend some time in wet sand there. So the headlight lid turned out awesome, no major defects there. That was really nice, and it was, you know, a pretty easy job to repair. So I think at this point I'm letting the clear coat definitely cure and harden before I remove any of the drop sheets, because I don't want them to drop into the clear coat as it's tacky. But that's about it for the voiceover. So I'm going to start pulling away the drop sheets, and then I'll do a summary at the end of the video here. So stay tuned for that summary, and I'll kind of go into things in a little bit more detail. Alrighty everyone, I just wanted to do a quick little summary at the end of this video showing how all of the touch-up areas went on the car, because they are not perfect, and I want to be very open and honest with you guys about how it went and some of the defects that happened that I'm going to have to go in and try and touch up or fix, or I'm not too worried about it because it's a project car. It's supposed to be a fun driver's car. There's also a giant scratch still down the side of the car from when I got it initially. So it's not perfect still by any stretch of the imaginations, even on the panels that I didn't paint. So overall, so this panel in the front here, this quarter panel on the driver's side, turned out the best. The paint, there were no runs in the clear coat. The paint matched really great. The orange peel looks factory after even just spraying it from the rattle can. The only area that was challenging was the blend area. So I tried to use that clear coat blender tool, or that blender that I was talking about earlier, but even then it kind of just makes this dull. So, and you can see the hard mask line, or maybe you can't. From right there you can. It doesn't come across on camera as well as it does to the naked eye, so that's kind of good for me, because maybe from afar it looks pretty good. It's only up close that you'll notice this, but I do have a plan to try and make this look a little bit better, and that is to wet sand and buff all of these areas. So that's going to be the big one for the front here, is to try and wet sand and buff to get rid of this mask line. For the little area on the driver's side door, so what happened was one up here, my mask tape grabbed onto the paint and pulled up and took a little chip out of the paint, so that was great, but I'm gonna have to just touch that up. And then right here, this is pretty noticeable. So you can see some primer got in here, and somehow some base coat didn't get in there to cover that primer. So I'm probably gonna have to go in and respray that real quick, just to try and cover that up, because that is pretty noticeable, and you can't wet sand that down. So I'm gonna have to fix that up and then touch this up as well, and then also wet sand and buff the mask line. The one thing that I found throughout this job is that I did not give myself enough room. From all the videos I watched, and I watched a ton of videos on blending and painting cars, One thing that they said is we want to make sure you give yourself enough room so that you don't run into these mask line issues where overspray hits that and then you get that mask line. So that was a common theme, which you'll especially see on the back side over here. So that's what I'm gonna have to do for there. Coming around. So right here, the big thing that you can see is, again, we have a hard mask line. Somehow primer kind of got up in here and it made this like dark almost right here. So there's definitely a clear difference. It doesn't even look like the same coat of red. So I'm gonna have to wet sand that down, possibly hit that with a little bit more red. And what I'm gonna do, if I have to do that, is just mask at the body panel gaps so that if I get overspray, there's no hard mask line. It'll just get wet sanded down and then buffed out. So that's my plan for that. But in this area here, the clear coat and orange peel look turned out really nice. The color match is pretty dang good. You can see a little bit remnants of my body repair. So a little bummer about that. I thought I got it pretty dang straight, but like I said in my video with the hood, body work and paint work is definitely an art. So props to you guys that do this professionally. I have mad respect because this is hard work and it's a lot of skill. And then I got a little bit of peel up from when I pulled my masking tape here. So moral of the story is I'm going to try and wet sand buff this first. If that doesn't come out, then I'm just going to hit this again with some more red because I did get one more coat of red or can of red. And then over here, kind of same story. Got to buff out these mask lines. Didn't give myself enough room, or I should have done the shadow kind of masking where you can kind of allow some overspray to get in here. Overall, color match is great. The biggest thing that happened here was when this was drying, a piece of loose plastic drop sheet blew down and somehow levitated, floated over here and stuck right in here. And so when that happened, I yoinked it out real quick, but it kind of messed up some of the base coat and clear coat, so I tried to hit it quick again to level it back down, and that caused a decent amount of runs in the clear coat. Again, it's hard to show this on camera, but it's definitely there, so you can kind of see it right there. So we got some runs. So I'm gonna have to wet sand, buff this, and kind of do the same thing here with the mask line. Definitely didn't give myself enough room, and or should have done the shadow or whatever they kind of call it. I can't remember what they call it, but that's what you can see overall. So you can kind of see the mask line area right there, and then also right here. So, were mistakes made throughout this job? Yes. But given for what the car is, this is a project car and I'm challenging myself here, I'm okay with it. It looks way better than having all these primered, body repaired areas on the car. So in summary, would I do this on my nice brand new or semi-new Tundra? No. I take that to a professional body shop and have them do it. But because this is a $7,000 project Corvette, was I okay with some defects in the paint and having to go back and fix up some areas that might not have gone well? Yeah, that's totally okay. Meets my expectations. So that's my fair warning to anybody trying this at home, is if you have a nice car that you're just trying to fix up a little scratch, maybe just take it to a professional. But if you've got a project car like me, where the whole goal of buying this project car was to challenge myself and learn new things, it's the perfect opportunity for it. So that's what I learned here. So I'll probably maybe not make another video on fixing up these areas, but I'll keep you guys in the loop on how it's going. But I just wanted to be honest with you on how everything came out. One of the common themes that I noticed as I was painting all the different panels, the bumper, the hood, all these touch-up panels, is there's always something that happens to the panel. Whether you bump it up against something, you drop something in it, a plastic drop sheet floats and lands in the paint. So you just have to go into that knowing that you don't have a professional spray booth setup, so things might happen. So, but I'm rambling on. Overall, really stoked with the paint job, and it's cool seeing the Corvette all back to red again. So if you guys haven't already, definitely subscribe for more content to come on the Corvette build. And other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.